When one talks of responsibilities, Omar, I just wanted to ask you, because I think for the rest of the world, now waking up to the very fact that you have a firm like the NSO Group, a very, very invasive spyware like Pegasus, being produced in Israel. I believe the Israeli government or the defense ministry signs off on its use. How is that being viewed within Israel, and what sort of accountability questions is it raising?
So I'll say this. I think Israel has a long history of using technology and specifically arms and defense arms exports as a kind of currency for diplomacy. So I think within Israeli society, no one here is surprised. So we know, and in that sense, it's important to note, NSO is not alone. There are many companies doing this. It is very possible that within India there are additional companies providing similar services of different styles that can do something similar. I think Israelis have long known that, you know, we trade with certain countries for this. And I think your average Israelis would be very pleased to know that we have good ties with India because of our technology as well. So at that level, I think there's a certain tolerance for it. But I think that also people are starting to now realize how bad it is, because there's a difference between selling to a country something that they used, you know, to fight terrorism or fight pedophilia, and then, you know, to learn that people like the reporters from The Wire, you know what I mean, brave journalists who are doing just amazing work are being targeted, you know what I mean, politicians where there's just no logic to them being targeted. In that sense, I think your questions to Phineas are interesting, because let's assume that the list is, you know, only the client's wish list. What does that say about this technology? You know what I mean? If this is how the wish list looks, if this is what people want to do with it, it almost doesn't matter what actually happened. It's such a, you know, this is technology that the Israeli government and defense ministry have to sign off on in a way that's not too dissimilar from actual weapons. You know what I mean? This is treated as a defense export. So, you know, this is like, so if I were to sell you guns and then I were to discover that, you know, within the scope of the gun, you're testing it also, or kind of want to just maybe shoot journalists, you know, the question of whether you shot them or not is almost redundant. It shows what people want to do with this technology.